Hi guys, and welcome to a new video on Minimal Nerd. Today is the first part of a series of videos where I will show you how to make your own Hackintosh. We're gonna use the hardware that I used to make this Hackintosh that you see behind me. Let's start. Okay, let's talk about the hardware. The hardware that I chose is after a lot of research and after asking many people on Reddit that had success with their Hackintoshes about the most compatible parts of the computer that I can use. So today I'm going to present you with all the hardware that I use for my own Hackintosh. For the CPU, we're going to use the Core i9 9900K unlocked. This is one of the best Intel CPUs that you can find as of 2019, 2020. There is the Core i9 10900K that came after this, but still the 9900K will be a great Hackintosh CPU. Next is the GPU. We're going to be using the 5700 XT from AMD. This is the Red Devil from Power Color. And this one is a RDNA 2 architecture GPU using Navi. And this is the highest end AMD GPU you can buy as of now until we can, find the new high-end Navi cards that probably gonna come at the end of this year. Okay, next is the motherboard. This is the Z390 Designare from Gigabyte. And I think this is one of the best Hackintosh motherboard simply because it's compatible with, Mac OS, and I've never had any issues with it. And Wi-Fi is not working, of course, because it's using Intel. There are some hacks you can find on OpenCore, but I did not try them yet. As for the Thunderbolt 3, it's actually working very fine. And this series of Gigabyte motherboards is actually highly recommended for Hackintoshing. There's also the Aorus Wi-Fi edition, which is also, very good for Hackintoshing. Next, we're going to talk about RAM. So I'm using CORSAIR Vengeance Pro, 32 gigabyte, 16 gigabyte kit of 2. And this one working fine with RGB. The RGB you can control actually from Mac OS if you want to do that, but it's not a big deal for a lot of people. Next, for storage, we're going to be using the NVMe M2 SSDs that you see here. These are the 970 Evo Plus from Samsung, 1 terabyte each. So in total, you can have 2 terabytes. What I'm doing on my current Hackintosh is 1 terabyte is for Windows and 1 terabyte is for Macintosh. You can actually do RAID 0 if you want for only Mac OS, but it depends on what you want to do actually with your machine. So this is the storage NVMe M2. Next is the power supply. So I'm using Cooler Master, the V750 Gold. This one is more than enough for the machine that we have. If you want to add more like powerful GPU, maybe you need a bigger and more powerful power supply. But for what we have now, this is more than enough. As for cooling the CPU, I'm using Thermaltake Water3 360 water cooling system. This one is working fine. I don't recommend Thermaltake because I had some issues with configuring the RGB color on the fans. So I would recommend going with a more expensive but better quality CORSAIR version. And this one so far is working for me very fine when it comes to cooling and doing its job. But when it comes to RGB and syncing with other fans, I had some issues with this one, and many people actually complain about this. So this is something you keep in mind. As for the fans, I went with Thermaltake, and like I said, I don't recommend it now since I had some issues with, the RGB and the connectors. So I recommend going with CORSAIR. It's more expensive, but trust me, it's gonna save you a lot of headache, especially when you want to configure the syncing with the motherboard. They say that this can work with, the BIOS of the motherboard, but it's actually not compatible. So I had some issues with it. I don't recommend Thermaltake. Maybe go with CORSAIR or other, high-end brands. And for the keyboard, the mouse, and the headset, I actually got this gift from the store that I bought this stuff from. So it's called the Essential Gaming Bundle. So it has the Corsair HS50 headset, the K55 RGB keyboard, and the MM100 mousepad, as well as the Harpoon RGB gaming mouse. So all of this comes into this bundle, and it's actually very fine. Like I've been gaming for a while on my PC, and it's working nicely, and the RGB is actually a very good addition. So I don't have anything to complain about this. As for the monitor, I'm using the MSI Optics MAG322 QVR. That's the full name. So this one is a 32-inch monitor. It has a 144 Hertz display refresh rate. It's a 1440p resolution, and it's also 1 millisecond when it comes to gaming response time. It's really good for me because I've been doing some of the graphic work on it, and it's a nice monitor to have both Windows and Mac. And it's also color accurate, at least for the work that I do, which is web design and graphic design. So I don't need, full Adobe color gamut. So it has 90% DCI-P3. So that's enough for me. If you want to go for a 4K or higher resolution monitor, of course you can do that. And actually I'm thinking about adding a new 4K monitor. Maybe one will be for gaming, which is this one, and one will be only for design work and video editing. So it depends on your workflow and what you actually want to do with your Hackintosh, and maybe Windows if you want to install Windows. As for the tower or the case, I'm using the Lian Li O11 Dynamic. This is the white edition, as you can see behind me. So it's been working fine. The airflow is actually really cool. And the tempered glass is also a cool addition, so you can see the inside of your hardware. But of course, you can go with a cheaper version, or you can go with a just simple case if you want to. It's all about what you actually want to do with your Hackintosh. For me, this is just a cool addition to have RGB, and I can control the lights, and it's working fine. And of course, to have a great Hackintosh, you need 2 Xbox controllers. No, I'm just joking. But I do actually use the Xbox controllers when I have friends over, and we connect the computer to the TV, and then we play some FIFA or some other games. And that's the beauty of having a Hackintosh, is that you can actually game on it, and you can do the work when you actually need to do it. So that's it for the hardware part. I'm sorry I'm not going to be doing another video about how to build the Hackintosh itself, since all the PC parts are already there in the Hackintosh you see behind me, and this is the only one I have, and it's my daily driver, so I cannot actually take the parts out and make them again, since I'm going to lose a lot of time and work. But if I do have other opportunities, I'm going to be making a build guide for Hackintosh. I hope you can watch some other YouTubers that already made awesome videos about how to build a Hackintosh. The next part of this series of videos will be about software. So we're going to see how to install macOS Catalina, and we can go from there. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the content, please leave a thumbs up. If you want to see more of the same content, please subscribe, and see you in the next one.